What's up, profitable stylist? We are going over how to jumpstart your hair extensions business. What kind of tips and tricks, what kind of business plan do you need to put together to be successful with a hair extensions business? That's what we're going on about.
All right. Or any business, actually. The very first tips I'm going to go over would kind of cover many businesses, because one of the things has been many years since I read a book called Guerrilla Marketing. And it's not a story type book, but I think we'll link it in the description for anybody that might want to get that old book. But it's one of those classics, like How to Win Friends and Influence People. Guerrilla marketing, I'm just going to kind of describe it in my own words. It's not described in the book like this necessarily, but it's basically all the free stuff you do at first. Because when you first start any business, and let's talk about hair extensions for just a minute, you wonder, if you spend how much money, where would it actually work? Like if I'm going to get Google AdWords and have people just calling me, or I'm going to spend a bunch of money and do an Instagram ad or a Facebook ad, will it work? What do I put out there? So forget about the money, kind of like you and I were just talking about, spending money on making videos, and I'm saying do the free stuff first. It was perfect for what we're going to talk about today, because I've been kind of thinking back about how I did things in the beginning. And a lot of times it's because you have no money in the beginning when you're starting a business in a lot of areas. Now, hairdressers are generally already semi-successful when they go into hair extensions, but many are not. They're just starting hair and they don't have money for anything, and they're wanting to market, and they're thinking, I should do the more expensive services first. That's smart. I agree. So the very first thing, though, to me is, we're going to talk about growing an extension business. The very first thing you need to do is make sure you're doing the right extensions, non-damaging, get some good training, get good at it, and maybe certified. That's kind of, I think, where it should start, right? If we're talking about extensions.
Yeah, being a hairdresser, there's so many different aspects of what we do. And it's nice to be able to provide all the services. That's great. It's also really good to figure out what you like the best and really focus on that one more than anything else, right? Once you decide that you want to do hair extensions, doing it properly, it's not just, order hair, throw it in. You want to make sure that you are fully educated 100% on what you're about to do. You got to do the research. Right. You got to make the commitment because unlike the other services, this is something that I teach in hair extension classes all the time. You do a haircut. Okay, I cut your hair, and Bernard, you come back to me and you're like, this side's a little too long. Okay, maybe I goofed it. Who knows? There's so many variables, right? It's so easy to come in and say, let me just fix that. I color your hair, and you're like, the tone is off a little bit. I'm like, I don't want to deal with you. Come on in. I'll just slap a toner on it, call it a day. Takes me like 5 minutes, maybe a couple of bucks in color and developer. But if you goof extensions, that gets it very expensive very quickly.
Be a costly goof.
And right, and especially in the beginning, you will goof, right? So you better have that training in place. That's the thing. But before training, I think if we rewind before, let me get your opinion on this, Bernard. Right?
I just rewound.
I think
you needed
the mentality going into providing this service, I think that's where it truly needs to start. Your habits.
Not a bad point. Some people don't need to do it at all.
So what kind of habits do you need?
Well, I love that you're rewinding a little bit, because it's kind of like on these hairdresser forums on Facebook, people ask questions, they post pictures, and they say, how do I do this? And so often I post in all caps, just say no. Because hair extensions, it was Nancy Reagan, Ronald Reagan, the president's wife, that started the Just Say No program for drugs. And so I think people know the Just Say No thing. And I had a hairdresser that worked for me one time, super successful. And sometimes during the consultation, Keel was her name. And she would say, not all clients are clients to have. I said, What do you mean by that? She said, a client comes in and starts telling you what they want, and you're like, I could never do that, don't want to do that, wouldn't like doing that. Just tell them no. And I was like, that was so freeing. What? I can say no? And so now when I tell my hairdressers that, they see this picture and they're like, Bernard, how do I do this? I said, you have never even practiced this, ever. You should first put a post out there on Facebook with this picture and say, I will free models that want this on their hair. If possible, come in, let's do a consultation until I'm good at it to be able to charge for it. I think the same thing for extensions. Maybe you wouldn't like doing extensions, just don't do them at all. That's where Brad was for a while, But then this friend of mine, Brad, in Midland, Texas, who went from successful hairdresser, started doing extensions, and within a few months was doing tons of extensions. So we should have him on in the near future to talk about it. But you're right, going back, maybe never do extensions. But then if you do, get a technique you like. And then to me, the very first thing to do is do them free. I mean, to me, free is the answer. You call it free, but isn't that what school is? Isn't that what, when you go to school, it's like the opposite of free? You give money to then do, you pay to be able to do free work. Why won't people do that for themselves? That's the way I've always saw it. I always saw doing a client for free as, for me, it's free education. I'm not having to pay somebody to teach me. It's more of a 0-0. Sometimes it costs me a little bit for the hair or the product or whatever, but get the practice, get confident, and make somebody happy and maybe make them a client.
That's the beautiful thing about education, especially hands-on education. You have the opportunity to practice, screw up, get good, all at the same time, under the supervision of a mentor, of under the guise of an educator, right? Here, a class that you and I provide is the ultimate hair extension technique class. The 5 different techniques. We teach all 5 in one day.
Do you have the date in front of you? I was supposed to talk about that. I didn't write it down at all.
What? When's the next one coming up?
Yeah, Amber's going to get it for me if you don't see it. But today, I think we're gonna make this a series. We're gonna talk about how to grow an extension business over. I'm not gonna give an exact number because I'm not sure how many it'll be now. But I think today we're gonna focus mostly on the free stuff. I mean, it might cost you a little bit, but the very inexpensive stuff. And the first thing, like I said, is doing clients so you get the practice, the experience. But then this next step I'm gonna talk about is fake. I love those powerful words that really kind of piss some people off when they first hear it, and they never want to be fake. But if you practice and you go to class and you get good at it, and then all of a sudden you go to announce it on a letter that you send out to imagine the last, talk to your mom or dad and say, what's the last big event we've had lately? Last big wedding? What's the last big list you've made for a party? Maybe it was a Christmas party, maybe it was a wedding, maybe it was a bar mitzvah, I don't know. Whatever it was, that list of people, that's where you announce it to. And by now, you should be good at it because you practiced for a little while, and you might not still be excited about this service because it's kind of, you got used to it. So that's where the fake comes in. You got to kind of remember the day when you thought, I'm going to make a lot of money doing this service. I'm so excited. I want to tell everybody about it right now. But you wait and you practice, and now you're not excited as you were the first day. You got to fake that first day of excitement because those people need to hear that excitement. So that's called marketing. I mean, isn't it? Isn't that what marketing is faking the sizzle and all this stuff, as long as you actually have the skills to deliver later. So first thing you need to do is announce it. And the very first announcement is the old-fashioned write a letter, put it in the mail to all those people that you invite to the last big party or last big party you went to or your mom had, or a good friend or caretaker, whoever in your family had a big party last. Maybe your boss. Maybe it was the company party. And then from there, you have to do the same thing in the new world, the new social media world. You have to announce it to people here, technologically. You want to add anything to that?
Yeah. And then real quick, your date coming up. Oh, so I got Chicago is September 13, and then you've got Slidell August 30th.
I see that. August 30th.
So those are the two dates coming up.
So So yeah. Oh, let me just a minute. Try not to lose your train of thought of what we're going to talk about, because I am excited right now, and I want to do it while I'm excited. And Amber just handed me this sheet of paper and I remember some details. It's 5 techniques. So first of all, I'm going to teach 5 techniques, everything but men's hair replacement, basically. So all the beaded techniques.
Wait, Bernard, time out. Bernard.
I'm going to teach a tape-in technique, women's hair replacement technique.
Bernard, can you hear me?
Less expensive.
Hold on.
What? Did I miss one?
Your phone cut out for a second and it froze up.
Y'all can't hear me?
Your phone cut out for a second. Repeat what you said.
All right. So I'm going to teach. The thing that's most exciting to me is this 390. Look, I'm going to fake the excitement now that I lost it since you screwed me all up. So and froze my phone. So thing I was just talking about. On Teachable, we sell these individual classes for beaded strands or beaded topper or beaded weft or, hair replacement. Each one of those classes by itself is more expensive than if you fly to me and learn all 5 techniques. There's 6 techniques, I think, altogether, but I'm going to teach 5 in one day, and it's going to be the beaded strands, the beaded weft for $397, the beaded topper, tape-in, and keratin extensions. I'm going to teach all 5 techniques in one day. I've done it as I did it as practice. Somebody came in for another class, and I thought, if I'm going to start charging and teaching this, let me see if we can get it done in a day. I did it with a small class. We only had 2 girls at the time. So I taught all 5, and we still had extra time. So I know we can do it. We can't teach men's hair replacement in the same day, plus some of the materials are a little costly. So that's the only thing that's left out of all the things we teach. But 5 techniques for $397. Ridiculous. Now, it costs you a little more because you have airfare, hotel, you're going to have to eat while you're here. And that is education only. We provide quite a bit of stuff to learn with. But if you decide you want to get a kit in any one of those 5 different sections, and some of the kits cover 2 and 3 techniques, then you can do that. And the kits are greatly reduced, discounted when you're here. And that is when? September 20th?
No, September 13th is Chicago.
August 30th.
August 30th is Slidell.
Yes, and Amber's telling me here that we got September 20th and 21st. Strictly women's hair replacement and beaded topper class, October 11th. 5 technique class again for $397, and then I'm doing the 5 technique class one more time this year at November 8th.
Right.
So I've got August 30th, October 11th, and November 8th for the 5 techniques.
And then so September 13, October.
So those are in the New Orleans area, and
Chicago is October 18, Monday, October 18, November 15, and I'm actually doing a December date. I'm doing December 13. So we'll put those all in an email and a list and stuff like that. So going back to where we were at, the other free way, in addition to, to recap, Bernard, you were talking about sending out a letter and doing posts digitally on social media and stuff like that. The other free way to start putting it out there is you're already a stylist. If you're already a stylist, you already have a clientele. So you already are doing haircuts and hair color all day. Start telling your clients that you're excited about it. I take a lot of psychological classes, and I also listen to a lot of motivational video. Like I watch a lot of listen to speeches and watch motivational speaking stuff because I'm awkward. I personally have, I don't even know what.
I barely noticed.
You barely notice, right? So I implore all these techniques. I overcome my fear of dealing with people, my introvertedness, I guess is the right word for it.
Yeah.
Because I talk about stuff that I'm excited to talk about. So when I'm with a client and they're telling me, "Oh, how was your day? How was your week? What are you up to?" Every single one of my clients think that I have no life. I just eat. Well, I do eat, breathe, and sleep hair, and I do have no life. But that's not the point. The point is, I'm always talking about, I just taught this class, I just did this class, I just thought about this technique, I just researched this thing. So everybody's like, oh, you're a nerd, you're a guru, you're a this, you're a that, you know? And then when they're talking to their friends and families and they're out and about talking about hair with whoever else, they're like, oh, my guy knows everything about hair. My guy, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate free advertising, the word of mouth as well.
That's good. So the other thing I was going to mention, I don't know what order to do these next two in. I'm going to talk about two of my favorite ways to grow a business. It was like a paradigm shift for me. I hired a lady one time who said, she was a business builder, coach type of thing. And I was worried. I was like, listen, this is where the problem is. We need more clients. We need new clients. She said, yep, I got that. I'm like, really? You can get more new ones? And she said, yeah. And do you know, when she comes in, she did not focus on new clients. So immediately I was pissed. I'm like, she's a liar. And she knew that my brain space had to be like, yes, come on in. But she knew what would really build my business. She saw how many clients were already coming in every week and every month from the reports. And where the problem was? Keeping them, not getting them. And
retention.
So we employ what we call the 80-20 rule. And there's a book on the 80-20 rule. So freaking good. It applies to everything in business, everything in nature, everything in the world, even in the universe. The 80-20 rule, it's crazy how it relates. But in business, how it relates is that most people, our feelings are to focus on, let's say, 80% of our money comes from 20% of our clients. Mm-hmm. You do the math, it'll be true. We did it, and it was true even for our hair extension business. It was like 81-19 kind of thing. I'm like, oh my God, that is so freaking close. Mm-hmm. And so in your business, 20% of your clients are the ones that bring in most of the money. But what happens is we take that 80% and get to the bottom 10% of those 80, which is I'm going to use a powerful word again, the losers of our business, the people that barely spend any money with us, hardly ever come in once a year to get a haircut. When it grows too long, they should be paying for 3 haircuts, but they pay for 1 and we do 3 because they keep complaining until it gets right. We focus on trying to make those 80% happy that are just the pain in the butts. And so the thing with me was, I was that pain in the butt for the consultant. I was like, how do I get new clients? How do I get new clients? And she's thinking, if you could just change your thinking and realize that you need a better consultation, you need a better retention, you need better rescheduling. If you really make these very few clients that are coming in, love what they're getting, want to come back, you don't need more new ones. You just need to keep more of the ones already coming. And man, that has been powerful in my life, to realize that I need to, as a human, I want to focus on the negative, which is in the 80%. And I need to try hard to focus on the very little bit that's actually making the big changes in my income, my life, my everything. So that's number one. And before I go into the next one, I'll let you add anything to that.
Yeah, what I will add to that is be committed. Create that habit. Be committed, be consistent. Consistency, I'm always on about consistency. I wrote an article a couple years ago. I wrote an article about this. I used to throw a party at the salon at the end of every month. It was a client or a customer appreciation, client appreciation, whatever you want to call it. At the end of every single month, I used to throw a party. And the reason why I used to specifically do it...
a party right now, you see?
See that? The reason why I used to do it specifically at the end of the month was because it's bill time. So everybody saves up. That's when everybody has all the money, as at the end of the month, because at the beginning of the month, you got rent, you got utilities, you got, gas, groceries, blah, 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 right? So
you want them to give you the money before they pay bills?
It's a choice. No. But look, it's an evil thing to say. We're saying this is business now. We talk in business.
Right.
I would throw the party. I would do consultations. Look, no services were done. because we'd be drinking. There was food. I'd barter with local businesses to cater it in, and I'd do their hair and stuff like that, just so I can have stuff, right? We'd have music. I'd barter with DJ and things like that too. So the thing was, we would be doing consultations all night. People would get excited. And now it's like, well, how much does this cost? Well, it costs $100 or $200, whatever it costs. And they're like, oh, I have that money. Wait, but that money I have is supposed to pay this. Can I run late on this for a week because I'll look really good? It's like, don't spend other people's money for them.
I know.
Right? Don't be responsible for other people.
Teach.
Got to be responsible for yourself. So I found that a couple of times in the beginning, I made a mistake. I got too excited, and I'm like, right there, they got the money. They're excited. They want to do it. We've been drinking. Hell, it sounds great. Let's do it. Yeah. Then it cost me a lot of money having to fix it the week after because we were sober, Yeah. Don't do hair drunk.
We've all done it. At a party. I mean, we love our craft, and we're at a party, and people are like, hey, would you cut my hair? Yes, let's do it. Sure. You become the platform artist and the entertainment. And yes, you pay for it later. The other one I wanted to bring up was, I know, the next day I'm like, wow, did I really do that? Not good. That's creative, but not in a good way.
Not in a good way, right?
The other one I wanted to bring up is, it's kind of the way people did things before the internet, before social media. Some of those things are still around, and they're still really powerful. The local chamber of commerce. I did not realize, I had always did some things through that and other local groups. And I was asking my business partner this morning, I said, tell me more about the Chamber of Commerce. Is that a city? He said, it's a nationwide thing. It's a thing that's nationwide, and all the little local cities and parishes and counties, they join the nationwide one, and then they're the local chapter. And I was like, oh, okay. I never really understood the bigger side of it, but basically,
Bernard,
other that are trying to, or
Bernard, you're having technical difficulties, bro. I don't know if you can hear me or not. You can't even see me. Your stupid phone.
Oh shoot! I can hear you.
Yeah.
My stupid phone.
You're stupid. So, that's what you heard. The stupid phone part is what you heard. Restart. You said Chamber of Commerce is a nationwide thing. He's having all kinds of technical.
So join the local Chamber of Commerce, but oh no.
There you are.
If it's not the Chamber of Commerce, in case anybody can hear me, join a group that it focuses on your hobby. Like I like to keep honeybees, so I join local honeybee meetings, people that go to meetings for bees. If you love cars, go to the local car shows. Join these organizations where you get to know these people, because in the beginning, you might be new to the town, or you were young, you just became a hairdresser, you're adulting, and you don't really have these friend groups that can afford your services. So you join the groups with a little bit older people that have hobbies. Hobbies cost money. People spend money on their hobbies. They'll spend money on their hair also, but when you join these hobbies, these groups, these clubs, then these people get to know you, and like you're asking, what do you do for a living? Oh, what do you do for a living? It just comes up, and you get to talk about it, and then all of a sudden they want you to do their hair. So join as many of those in the beginning as you can. I mean, it can be church, it can be Bible studies. Hobbies is the easiest one to find. It can be riding bicycle groups, shooting guns. I mean, so many, whatever you like to do, join those groups, and 2 and 3 of different things if you need to find people. And then have a ribbon cutting ceremony. I just started doing extensions. The Chamber of Commerce will invite the mayor. They'll come cut a ribbon, and they'll put it in the local newspaper if there is still one around. But they'll definitely put it in their local Facebook page, Instagram page also, because most of these cities have updated the paper into digital. Have you joined any of these groups to meet people?
Networking is such an important aspect of what we do. The way I discovered networking, why it's so important, is because So many times I filled out an application and they're like, well, what industry are you in? And then they have that drop down menu and you have to scroll through all the industry to figure out, right? Cosmetology is never listed. Never listed.
No.
Look, in Illinois,
What do you check off?
other and miscellaneous, which is the goofiest thing.
Service industry.
Service industry, yeah, but then the application comes back and they're like, yeah, that's for restaurants. You're not a restaurant, you know. It's the goofiest thing. In Illinois, I went to go renew my Cosmo license up here, and on the Illinois Department of Rules and Professional Regulations website, cosmetology is barbers are listed. We are cosmetology teachers are listed, but us actual cosmetologists, no. We're just under some
Everybody's failing.
stupid thing says Cosmo on it. Like that's it. And you have to know Cosmo is short for cosmetologist. So our own state doesn't even respect us.
Interesting.
So I figured that out a long time ago. I go to events that I have zero interest in. I go to parties that I don't want to be at. It's become this known thing that it's like, oh, Eddie's here to make an appearance. I'm like, yeah, I showed my face. Can I go now? You know, because I get invited to stuff, right? So I'm always saying, oh, I'll make an appearance. The point is, like you're saying,
more than that.
Yeah, you got to get in. You got to inject yourself into these groups so people can get to know you, because the world still doesn't view us as a valid profession for some weird reason.
Right.
You know. So that's the thing. One of the other things I'll say as a tip or as a thing, you need to be okay to fail, and you need to be patient.
Yep.
What those two things mean is, in the beginning, you will do 10 consultations. You will disqualify 8 or 9 of those clients. They won't be ready for extensions, whether it's because their hair isn't in a good enough condition, whether it's because financially they can't maintain. Forget about getting it done the first time. They cannot afford to maintain it. Whatever the reason is, you're going to start providing extension services. You're going to be all excited about it, and it's going to be so cool. You're not going to get to do your first extension for like a month, right? Don't get discouraged. Don't let that failure push that off to the side and be like, oh, I guess I'm just not going to do it. You know, don't wait for that.
That's why you got to do it free right away. That's why you got to do it within the first like 2 or 3 days. You come back from a class or some education or training. That's why I never waited to get a successful consultation or a successful payment. I made it happen. That's one of the things I live by, and I ask people all the time, are you going to wait for it to happen, or are you going to make it happen?
You're going to make it happen.
I don't wait or let things happen. I decide what I want to happen, and then I make that happen. I want to put hair extensions on people. Now, I can't make somebody pay me, but I know if I do them, people are going to see them and then want to pay me. So I make it happen. I say on Facebook, hey, I'm getting ready to do that with beaded toppers. I want to get more practice with them. So I'm getting ready to do some posts, half price, maybe free if we have to. I want to do 5 to 10 of them at some ridiculously discounted, maybe free price, which is going to cost me. We want to get the experience, the before and after pictures, the marketing, because it's such a new thing. I don't have enough before and after pictures. And we just decided, you know what? Let's just do some people. Let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen.
So with extensions, you got to tell your mom. She's not going to say no. Mom, I need to do extensions on you. I think if I go any further, I'm going to go into the more expensive, paid, more organized stuff, which I think we should kind of do next time.
But here's one more thing.
Wrap it up with the free stuff.
A mannequin head is the ultimate tool. If you have gaps in your book, don't go home. Stay at the salon, grab your mannequin head, put it at your station, and start working on the mannequin. Be seen. Be a peacock.
Right.
Let everybody see what are you doing. Let them be intrigued. Allow people to come close to you, ask you questions. Allow them to touch and feel your work and inspect your work to see what it is you're doing, so that this way It's just showing people that you are busy always with your hands. Your hands are doing something. It doesn't matter that you don't have a client in your chair physically. You are physically always working. That is what people are going to remember.
And keep working on your mannequin till it looks like this.
That's a great mannequin.
That's full use of a mannequin. That's all the way down to putting relaxer on there till we melted all the hair off so that we could then start to draw patterns on it. I mean, use that head for cuts, colors, extensions. Just keep practicing on it, like you said, till it's gone. And Bridget here would like to tell you guys, get your name tattooed on your neck and have a good day. Bye-bye.
So
peace out.
That's what we're gonna. That's our tips for this week on free stuff. Just simple ways that you can start that are so overlooked. It's talked about the most, but it's so overlooked all the time. All right, everybody, leave us your comments. Buy Bernarda coffee. We'll catch you all next time.
All I got is water today. I need a coffee. Buy me a coffee. Bye, guys.
Cool.